The Wellness Show with Angela and Safiya.
Join us every Wednesday at 12 noon on Heritage Radio 90.6 FM.
I'm Angela Sumas, a nutritionist, a mindset coach, and a teacher.
And I am Safiya Ascolibol, a Pilates instructor and a Taekwondo black belt.
We're both passionate about wellness, and we will be opening your horizons about ways you can become healthier in your body, mind, and soul.
We will be drawing tips from our knowledge and personal experience as professionals and busy home educating moms.
Whether you're a man or a woman, single or a parent, there will be something for you.
Join us every Wednesday at 12 on Heritage Radio 90.6 FM. Welcome to this week's edition of The Wellness Show with Angela and Safiya. Please note that whatever we say is not intended to diagnose, treat or cure. If you are in doubt, do consult a healthcare practitioner before applying any change to your lifestyle. Assalamualaikum, everybody.
Assalamualaikum.
Angela and Safiya today for the very first time on this very new wellness show, which we're delivering here for you on Heritage Radio 90.6 FM. It will be on every Wednesday at 12, inshallah, and we are very excited. Yes, Angela and I have been working together for many years, different projects, different stages of our lives, whether we were homeschooling our children, whether we were studying and different specialties. Angela as a nutritionist and mindset coach, myself as a Pilates instructor. And we decided that maybe we should try and share a little bit more our knowledge rather than just informally talking to our friends here or there or advising people through our various jobs. But we just wanted to basically put out all this knowledge a bit in the public sphere for you, our dear listeners. So
hopefully it will be useful.
Yes, inshallah, we're making lots of dua. So I think it would be nice, Angela, if we started to talk a little bit more about ourselves and what led us really to be here today. So would you like to start, please?
Okay, I'll introduce myself a little bit. My name is Angela. I have 6 kids. We've been homeschooling since junior kindergarten. That's from Canada.
I was going to say, let's
Canadian.
specify that Angela is Canadian if you've not noticed.
And I literally since converting to Islam, it's been one change after another, and also with our lifestyles. I've been here for maybe 15 plus years, and it's been a journey adjusting to the UK, even though I know the language. Me and Safiya always talk about how we are really immigrants, even though we know English. We have a lot of things to learn, and it's different from where we came from.
Yeah,
don't you think, Safiya?
Yeah, very. I mean, some people wonder where my accent comes from. So I know some of my friends might be listening. They know, but I'm French. But I lived in an English-speaking country since 1991, first in Ireland, so sometimes I have hints of Irish accent. When I talk about Dublin, for instance, I cannot say Dublin, I say Dublin.
Whenever.
But I've been living in the UK since 1994. So both of us are converted as well to Islam, alhamdulillah, for about 30 years for you, isn't it, or something?
I'd say 31, since 88.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's about
mashallah, mashallah. I mean, it was 9 years after you. So it's been a while. So we're immigrants to the UK. We are converts to Islam. We're kind of a bit of a weird species, aren't we? But alhamdulillah, we've settled in our lives spiritually and physically as well in the UK in many ways. Although I know Angela, she's looking at me with his eyes saying, oh, I still yearn so much to go back to Canada. But why would you want to go so far? We still need you here, Angela, all your knowledge and things. So this is a kind of a short introduction on our background. I'm a mum of 4 children as well. And as I said earlier, we're both home educated. And
you still are, aren't you?
I am still.
I'm finished with that.
You are, yes. My youngest is 13, and I've got a 16-year-old girl who's also, they're both preparing the GCSEs at home. And I've got 2 older children who are now of university and college age. But the mention of homeschooling is really because it's part of a general attitude we both had, where we wanted to have an approach that was like a wholesome lifestyle. Not saying that school is necessarily bad.
No, school is important.
Yeah.
I loved school personally.
Yeah.
But homeschooling, I looked at it more like how to increase our family closeness. And that has happened. Like, my kids are very close to each other. And it is because they had to learn to get along. Whereas I noticed a lot of kids who do go to public school, not all, but so many have a distance between them. But of course, it's not the same with all families. It depends.
Yeah. Yes, it depends on the family makeup. My children are close to a sense, but there's 3 boys, 1 girl, so the behavior of boys is sometimes different and much more individualistic. And my daughter would have preferred maybe to spend more time with other girls, and they spend more time together, doing things together sometimes. You also have quite a few boys. So
4 boys, 2 girls.
So this was the homeschooling bit about how, we wanted. And then when the children grew up, we both sort of slowly went into thinking, what could we do?
What are we doing next?
Yes.
Is this it? So then I was always into learning more about nutrition. So I even went into the trouble of going to my university, because I didn't go when I was younger. So I did do a degree in human nutrition. I'm not going to say that it was a waste of time. I learned so much. But since then, I've learned more. And I guess that's a degree is the basis of your education, and then you add to it. Hopefully, you don't stop learning. And boy, have we learned a lot of things. And it's been a journey. It's reflected in how in my house, or what we buy, what we used to buy, and what we buy now for eating. Like, we used to eat lots of Kellogg's, white bread, margarine. My kids had to adjust over the years. Oh, no more fish sticks. Why can't you buy? We'll buy real fish. We'll buy granola instead of, cornflakes and stuff. So it's been a journey. It's still a journey. And hopefully now I feel like I can share some of that and be helpful to someone else, so that you don't have to go to university if you don't want to.
Yeah. It's true, but I think sometimes whatever your end goal is, to be able to first learn what everybody else knows, you have a kind of a basis for your knowledge that everybody can refer to. They say, oh, right, so she studied. It's a bit like the A-levels and the GCSEs, isn't it? Being homeschooled, you might decide, oh, I don't want to do the exams, I'm just going to do a different route to my adult years and contribution to society, whichever way, or earning money. But obviously it's a bit harder. But to go through the sort of hoops first, you know what everybody else knows. You also know what is being taught to others and what you might not want to retain, or you might want to add or change or modify. Sure. Or add to as an adult, contributing to this knowledge. Because when we hear all these experts that we are interested in, they had to go through the traditional standard education, all of the degrees, and then they went on to further their knowledge and add to that knowledge.
A lot of it has to do with experimentation on yourself. Like, you read about something and then you try it and see how it works. Of course, everybody's different, but you at least have to try. You can't just speak, as far as I'm concerned, from just theory.
Yeah.
And it's important to keep trying things. Very important. And of course, some things work, some things don't work. The books that I used to read and what I used to follow maybe 15 years ago are like
a bit outdated now, or? They're
outdated now, because now we know more. There's more information now, for example, about fasting. Who would have thought fasting would become, mashallah, mainstream.
Yeah.
You know, like Dr. Mosley talks about fasting.
Thank God for
5
him.
and 2. They talk about 5 and 2, and it's like, yes, in Islam
So,
we have them Mondays and the Thursdays, which are sunnah fasts.
So if you don't remember, Dr. Mosley was this doctor who, well, he's still this doctor, who experimented on himself doing intermittent fasting. That was about 10 years ago, and he did a series of BBC programs where he tried fasting twice a week or something. It was
twice a week.
It's now known as the 5-2 intermittent fasting system. And basically, he wasn't fasting like we do in Ramadan. He was drinking water. He was drinking coffee or black tea, black coffee, that sort of things, over a 24-hour.
And didn't have any calories. Like he didn't add milk and sugar.
I think he had and altogether in the day had one small snacky meal of 600 calories something, and he was doing that twice a week, and the rest of the week he would be eating fairly normally, not excessively, but like without restricting.
To be fair, he's the mainstream, right? Before and after, there's been other doctors who've been writing about it, and mostly Dr. Mosley is British, whereas the other doctors that I know of are mostly American, but maybe they didn't filter
there's a name
down here.
What's his name? Dr. Fung Young.
Dr. Fung is a Canadian doctor who specializes in kidneys, nephrologist, and he's talking about fasting because he helps a lot of his patients who are diabetic to use fasting mainly to improve, if not just have normal blood sugars, which is amazing. We've read about that stuff, but it really helps when the doctors get involved and they do their research, and it's backed by research instead of just some random person talking about it.
And I think this is the big difference. Most of our listeners will probably have had at some point in their life someone telling them, "Are you crazy? You're fasting, like you don't eat and you don't drink for so many hours." I mean, it can sound. I remember the first time I was told how to fast, I thought, hold on a minute,
I can't do it.
I did not know I can't drink. I was like, not eating potentially, although I thought that was hard. And believe me, when I started my first fast, it was in the middle of winter, December. I was fasting from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. I mean, it's not like...
I don't remember the times, but it was March, when Ramadan was still in Canada, so it was still like short, and it was going the other way, March, February, and only now, being Muslim for so many years, did I fast summer long hours. Yeah. But
so basically,
you still didn't think you could do it, because other traditions... they fast too, and the tradition that I come from is Greek Orthodox, and they have a fast, but it's a type of 40 days, more like vegetarian. You can eat vegetarian, no oils, no fats, no meats. But when you compare it to Muslim fasts, right, on theory level, that's a torture. But no, actually, I didn't think I could do it, but mashallah, I did it. It was a big blessing.
We will definitely have a show where we'll talk more about fasting on the cellular level, what the effect it has, and obviously the different types of fasting, not just our Ramadan fast, but also why the Ramadan fast is the way it is and how it benefits us if it's done properly.
Yes.
So we'll go into many more details at a later stage. But basically, this is what I was really interested to hear from you today, for everyone to hear, is really your journey, why you came from being a homeschooling mom to being a qualified nutritionist. Obviously, you're also now a teacher, qualified teacher. And if anybody knows Angela, she always has a project. She always had 10 projects in her head, and 10 ideas, 100 ideas, 10 projects, and probably as many books piled up on her desk or in her Kindle. So she's, mashallah, just an avid learner.
Safiya, You reflect me because you do the same. And do they say, tell me who your friend is? Just tell me who you are?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Nutrition is very important. Apart from your deen, which is spirituality, and it straightens your mind, your mindset, how to worship and stuff. It's the basis. Nutrition is the basis of your health. Now, I'm not saying that I have the best outlook. Like if somebody saw me, they might say, "Oh, you don't seem healthy." Yes, I am. I do not have any issues, no blood pressures. I'm 51. I do not have any. I don't take any medications. I have a weight problem, but I'm working on it. It's like a work in progress, and it has to do with adapting wrong information. As I was learning and putting into practice, one thing that diets do, and when I mean diet, is reducing your calories, removing all the fat, and all the things that women are told to do to lose weight. It ruins your metabolism. So dieting as in reducing your calories, and I'm not saying calories don't count, but we'll talk about it at another show.
Definitely.
That going on these diets ruins your metabolism, and I have done that in the past. And as you get older, your muscle mass reduces your metabolism. Your metabolism also reduces as you diet, and a few other factors. And you have a recipe for reducing your metabolism and your body gaining weight very easily. So we'll talk about all that. We'll unpack all that information slowly, and hopefully it will be of benefit to others.
Inshallah.
And we'll talk also about the role of exercise, what types of exercise to do. Safiya is a black belt and a specialist, and since she also became a black belt in her middle age time when a lot of women give up on their life, now she became a black belt twice over. So we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, it's true. I think this is also what motivates us as well, doesn't it, Angela? That we want to show and inspire others, men and women. It's not, we're not sexist here. That your age might be. We always say age is a number, isn't it? Okay, yes, it is a number, and it does impact somehow. Sometimes in big ways, and other ways, maybe smaller ways, how your body reacts to things. Okay, and we cannot take that out of the equation. We cannot pretend we're 25 anymore. When I was pregnant with my first one, I was in 30. Yes, I was a bit late as well. And my fourth one, I was 38. They were very different. And so your body, when I have injuries, I can see if I have an injury from my training, and I compare that to my daughter who's 16. The day after, okay, she might ache a little bit. For me, it will take a lot, a little bit longer. But your age number is not necessarily your body number in general terms. And there was actually an interesting thing. I was quite shocked. Because, again, we'll talk about that as well. There's probably a show coming up on hormones, just on themselves, by themselves, and menopause, perimenopause. And also menopause, because they do go through changes as well, and we tend to completely overlook that. But I did some tests because I felt like my chest was getting a little bit, it was a few years ago, a bit kind of, I struggled to take deep breaths and things like that. So it was, and it's related to my hormonal change. So I went to do a test, and they make you breathe into that tube, and you've got to kind of take a deep breath, like really fill your lungs with as much air as you can, and then exhale that air into that tube, and then measure your lung capacity. And wow, she told me I had the lungs of a 35-year-old.
Mashallah.
And I was like, I'd never thought that, because I felt like my lungs were limited, but I was comparing to maybe a few years before that. But I was still with a good lung capacity.
But there are people who have changed their life, and they actually, through nutrition and diet, and they do report that they feel better than when they were in their 20s. So it is doable. It is doable. It's how much you put an effort in it, how much you're interested. There's so many people I follow that were in their 60s, 50s, and they start exercising then, and then they change their whole health profile. So it's doable. We cannot put limits, even though it looks like the majority. It's because the majority follow that attitude that, oh, I'm getting older.
It's true.
It's normal, but it's not. You can change it. And you can be from any culture, from any background, man or woman. You can make a change in your life. And it does not have to be a public display. You can just do it at home. There's so many ways to do something.
Yes, I think what you said earlier is really crucial and will inspire a lot of people listening. When you said that although you have a health problem and you're 50, you do not have high cholesterol, you do not have diabetes, you do not have high blood pressure. So all of the arthritis.
I have nothing.
You don't have
the only health problem would be that excess weight. To me, that's a sign. That's when you gain weight, it's not the problem. The problem is it reflects. It's like when you have a fever. That means your body's going through some type of infection. So that's what gain weight is like. It's a sign that something else is wrong. And of course, like we're saying, we'll unpack that. It's not very common to in mainstream to say that. But being overweight is really like a symptom. So then you take that and you go back and see what you can do. Not just put Band-Aids on it by reducing your calories, or I don't know. What other things do people do to reduce their weight without finding out what's wrong? Right?
Yeah.
We have to start to think long term, like the long game. It took a long time to gain weight, and it's going to take a long time to reduce your weight, because it's all about lifestyle choices. And in order to change your habits, you're fighting yourself literally. So, but you have to work on changing your habits to better habits. It's doable. It's hard. Sometimes it seems impossible, but it's doable.
Yeah, it's true. I think, and this is when your
mindset
comes in,
right? It's about mindset. It is about mindset. You have to just know that mindset is the most important thing.
So tell us some more about exactly what is mindset.
You have a problem, and you want. A lot of people who have a problem, a lot of us think, this is life. You can't do anything about it. Or they'll do some Band-Aid type of things, like they go to someone else to save them, right? But if you don't decide that you can overcome this problem, then it's not going to happen. Like you have to make little changes here. Don't think of, I can't have sugar in my tea. I remember that. I used to take 5 teaspoons of sugar in my cup of tea when I was in my 20s, and I would have like 3-4 cups. And I even back then I was like,
I had sugar in my tea, but I don't think I ever had
5 teaspoons. I remember that. And I remember a friend of mine were talking about health even back then, because back then I was slim. You couldn't tell that it was doing anything to you, when you're already in a good shape. And right. And then I remember her giving me a cup of herbal tea, because we want to transition to herbal tea with no sugar. And I remember one time crying, because I know it seems dramatic, but I am dramatic. I was crying because I was thinking, what am I gonna do without sugar?
I think we forgot to say that Angela is also Greek.
What am I gonna do?
So when she gets really dramatic,
yes,
that's the Greek,
Yeah, that's the Greek. But now at 51 versus 25, I have a Turkish coffee double with no sugar, no milk. Yes. And I can have it. And the only thing I would love to be able to do is to see a plate of baklava and say, no, thank you.
I did today. Actually, someone gave me some, and I was like, nope.
Okay, maybe I've raised my standards. So now I'll have ice cream, but I will only have high quality ice cream. So I wouldn't have the really cheap stuff. So at least you can raise your what you eat. So you could still have, but have a good quality of something. So if instead of having baklava from the shop that's probably cheaply made, maybe
with a lot of
I'll have baklava when I visit Turkey.
or exactly.
Or somebody makes it
with real honey rather than the sugary syrup
and butter.
So this is interesting because we were talking about at the end of the show. Each we will sort of give you tips, couple of tips. I'll give you tips about sort of movement and things, and Angela will give you like one tip you can try and play with in the week to see if you can implement that little change and to see how you like it. So we'll tell you at the very end what we chose, but we were discussing, I was suggesting, why don't you say, instead of having your chocolate bar, have, and she said, no, come on.
You should still have your chocolate. I've learned to like dark chocolate.
Yeah.
70%, okay? My husband eats 90%. But I'll have it with a few walnuts, like a few pieces with walnuts. And that really helps make you enjoy it. You might not like walnuts. You might like, I don't know, you might like peanuts. Well, the peanuts here are not so good when you had them in Turkey, but peanuts, and what are the other nuts called? Those from Turkey and Italy. They make a Nutella. I can't remember them now. Hazelnuts.
And they've got a dark coating, which is good. Skin, which is also
don't go overboard, but having it with chocolate does make you feel like, you're having a little bit of a treat instead of buying the cheap stuff. A lot of things you have to get used to. Like I'll give you examples of food that I didn't used to like. Okay, I'll tell you. Mango. Of course, now that I love mangoes, you'd think, how could you not like mangoes? Because I never had it until I was 18, 19 first time, and I didn't like it. But now I love it. Avocados. It was so plain and tasteless, and now I love them. Any foods that you've come to like, Safiya?
Yeah, this is exactly the process I've been. We may sound like, we're taking all the fun out of life, but you'd be surprised. Your taste buds can be trained.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm a testament. 5 sugars, 5 teaspoons of sugar
seriously.
To no sugar.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying you shouldn't have any, but the sugar is not your best ally for a lot of things, especially for your appetite.
Yeah, definitely, and it numbs your taste buds, and then you really struggle.
We can do a whole show about why sugar is bad for you.
Absolutely,
reduces your immune.
So, for instance, as an example, Angela's I made her a Turkish coffee without sweetener at all. And I had my Turkish coffee with a little bit of
I thought there was sugar in it. I'm so used to it. I thought, did she put?
No, I didn't put.
Thank you.
So we used something else. So we'll tell you more about this. But I think we're going to have a little bit of a break, just a very short break. And when we come back, we'll be continuing talking about our journey and a little bit more about sports and exercise.
Okay, we'll talk about that. I want to hear more about it, Safiya. When we come back. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming a Taekwondo black belt and a Pilates teacher?
So I'm trying to remember. It was 10 years ago. Okay, it was like from a young age I was always attracted to martial arts, but for some reason never did any. It wasn't really done in my family. They were more into horse riding, and there was nothing really around where I was living, in a small village near a town in France. So then, but I remember always being attracted to that black belt, seeing people with black belts or hearing someone saying,
I love it too. I love it too, but I haven't done anything with it. So you actually took the steps.
And then a close friend of mine, another homeschooling mom, had started sending her children to a Taekwondo class locally. And my boys were very young. They were 4 and 5 or something. So I took them as well. It was like a youth club. And there was, they did a little demonstration of their technical abilities and kicking the pad. And I remember just looking at this, absolutely mesmerized. And I just fell in love. It's like a connection, heart to heart. Really, when I talk about it, I still get emotional. And but funnily enough, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to that, because that happens a lot. What did I think? As the dedicated mom I was, like, oh, that's perfect for my boys.
I did that too. I put my kids in karate. I put them in karate, but I didn't
Think
do
about
that
it for
next
yourself.
step.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's great for them, but I was not into the equation at all. So I started sending them as well, and it was something like in 2010. And after a while, about a few months, sitting on the chair, looking at them having fun, and also there were a couple of older women who were doing it as well in that club, and I started talking to them, and they said, yeah, we started with our children when we were in our 30s. By then I was just 40, and I thought, hold on a minute, that it's possible.
It is.
It's not just for kids. You can start as an early, at a later stage, and they're really awesome. They're black belts themselves. They went through that grind of training. So, but being Muslims, this was just a mixed club with lots of different people. So being Muslims, I was at the stage where, first of all, I was not in a good shape at all. I was never sporty. First of all, let me state this. I was not sporty at all. Okay. The horse riding I did when I was a child was like once in a week, and it was more a hobby than an actual sport.
A lot of people,
for me.
A lot of people though start sporty when they're kids, and then they eventually they just get busy with life.
Yeah, but even then, in school, I was always the last one on the running track. I was really not good. And gymnastics, I was just rubbish. No flexibility. And then you have also maybe a culture in my family where my mum used to say, "Oh, we're not flexible in our family." So you kind of grow up with that idea that
you
we're not
believe
really.
it.
And you deny certain signs in your body. For instance, when I was working in London, I was going occasionally. I was young, I was 25, 26. I was going occasionally swimming. I was sometimes going to the gym with a friend. It was more for the social aspect of things and to do a little bit of exercise. But I really hate running. I do, really, with a passion. But as I will tell you later, I actually did do a bit of running, but not very, very basic. But when I saw that Taekwondo, so I said, okay, let's talk to the instructor. He had a daughter who was in her late teens, and I said, could we set up a women-only class? And he said, yes, of course.
That was very accommodating of him, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
no problem. We found a local hall in Eccles in Salford, where I live, and we were a handful of women, and we started Taekwondo.
I remember when you started going, and it was too far for me to come. But I remember that time, and it was a journey.
It was.
And from that class, now you have a black belt.
Yeah, because what happened when we started just 1 hour a week, as one does. And for me, it was already in my blood. Before I'd even started, it was in my blood. I really, really was absolutely obsessed by it. So very quickly, 1 hour was not enough. So we set up a second hour. And very quickly, that was not enough for me and another mom. So we both decided that because of the outfit we use in Taekwondo, like karate, most martial arts have a white outfit which covers nearly goes down. I mean, mid thigh. There's a belt around your waist, but it's large. It's not tight fitting. So it was very easy. And Britain being so welcoming and so diverse, just turn up with a scarf, it's not an issue. Might have been another situation in France, but as we know, there's still other sports where it's difficult to wear. Like we've
heard about it, situations where
Ibtihaj Mohammed, who has issues in
other
basketball
girls.
other girls. So it was really smooth, and mashallah, our instructor, he's one in a million. I mean, he's the former ladies Olympic coach and national team coach from the 90s, and lots and lots of experience, and super welcoming and non-discriminatory. So he already had Muslim girls with the club, so we just basically slotted in as mums. And the amazing thing with him was that he treated us like he treated everyone else. Like, you have to be the best and push yourself within your abilities. So as 40-year-olds, he was not asking us to do what the 15-year-olds were doing in terms of fancy kicks, spinning and jumping, but he was asking us to try and do as much as we could to reach the higher level within. But he was not compromising on what we could do, and it was
tough
pushing
coach.
us. Yes, yeah, but that's what martial means army. So there is that element of discipline, pushing yourself, not being complacent, and I really loved it. So I discovered something in me I never knew I had, which was this spirits inside really wanted to push myself. And also there's this we know there's a chemical element in our body. When you do exercise, you release happy hormones. It makes you feel good. There's loads of things going on, so obviously you tap into that afterwards to build. Yes, it was a tough session. I'm coming out completely sweaty. I can barely walk. I'm shaking because I'm so tired, but wow, subhanallah, I feel so good.
Do you need to do that level of exercise to get that happy hormone, you think?
I think no, I don't think, no, you don't. Moving.
So anyone who's from doing nothing has a hope to
yes
start moving slowly, even if they don't want to do something so specific as martial arts, they could still get that feeling, that happiness feeling.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about it next week, most likely. We'll be talking about how to start some form of activity. I don't want to call it exercise, because exercise has got this sort of stigma a little bit, where you have to really sweat it out in the gym and be in pain, and no, you don't have to. Our body is designed to be active, but not necessarily push yourself to crazy limits, especially not for several hours a day.
But now you do Pilates.
So basically, when I when was it? 2017. There was no ladies class anymore. In the end, it stopped. But I continued, obviously, with the other coach. But I was thinking, I was getting a lot of injuries, because obviously then by that time, when a passion takes over, you do push yourself. Sometimes you don't listen to your body. You're like, I should rest a bit. I should be careful there. You just push yourself. You want to reach certain goals. You want to be more flexible. You want to kick faster. You want to do whatever you want to do. Or if it's someone who's running, they want to run longer. And you end up with a swollen knee for 5 weeks, and you can't do anything. As a mom, that wasn't very practical. So I remember, it's just a very simple thing. I was just walking down the stairs thinking, how could I, improve my fitness to reduce my injuries? At the same time, I'd like to do something, because there's always an element, a bit like you, an element of teacher in me. I like to share my things. This is why I'm here.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, and all these ladies that were doing Taekwondo with me, we really did struggle on some things, especially core strength, which is like, your middle, your tummy. I think
it's one of the important factors.
Yes, to hold it together. And I thought, what could help me? I was like, Pilates. I'd never done Pilates before. Yeah, seriously, I'd never done Pilates, not even a minute.
I've dabbled in Pilates.
I had done yoga
from videos.
But for some reason, Allah inspired me to look into Pilates, and I was like, that is absolutely spot on. That's exactly what we need, especially in Taekwondo. I was thinking always from the standpoint of how to make me better in Taekwondo.
Has it improved your
absolutely.
Taekwondo?
Absolutely, because when you get strong core, it's like a scaffolding you build around your torso and your hips, and therefore you use the right muscles, your joint move much more freely, and things are lighter and easier to do, and that works for your daily life. And that's my aim. So when I looked into it, I got trained within, I did a year training, and I started teaching. So I've been teaching since April 2017. And alhamdulillah, the feedback I get is really, really positive, because we can feel that strengthening, and how we have less back problem, less issues, less difficulty going up and down the stairs, carrying loads, carrying a laundry basket full of heavy, little things like this. That's my aim, is to really share.
But Pilates kind of brings back, say you're middle-aged, right, and you lose it slowly, because we are all born with muscles, with healthy body, most of us. But as you get age, and if you don't work on it, you lose it.
Yeah.
So Pilates helps you build that.
Yeah.
You can get it back.
Yeah, definitely.
You can build on your physical health through Pilates.
Yeah, and I'm adding as well a lot of knowledge that I always mention him, because he's such a fantastic inspiration for me, and he's my mentor. He's my sister-in-law's husband. He's trained into mobility, and he was originally a
We should bring him one day.
Definitely, he's on my list. Definitely, he's such an amazing brother, mashallah. He's taught me a lot, and he's really encouraging me. I've encouraged him to be a Pilates instructor as well for men, and he's encouraged me to look more into the mobility, the joints, health, and that is so crucial for as we age to get better mobility. But as you get good mobility in your joints, you also build up all of the muscle, the strength around those joints. So it works together, works in symbiosis with Pilates as well. So I teach online now because of
That's
COVID.
been great.
That has been such a, subhanallah, the flip of the coin, the silver lining of the cloud, was that now so many people, women, I teach women.
It's opened the door, frankly, to a lot of people who never would have been able to, or never even thought of doing it.
Yeah.
That doing it online, exercise online.
Yeah.
COVID was one of the catalysts.
Yeah, catalysts. Yeah.
To make people think, oh, we can do things online because we have the technology.
Well, when we had to do our Taekwondo training 4, 5, 6 times a week online in our lounges and gardens and bedrooms, I thought, hold on a minute, if we are jumping around and kicking and doing fitness with Taekwondo, I certainly can teach Pilates online. So that was, alhamdulillah, that was a blessing. More women can benefit. But then I have now, alhamdulillah, a new class in Sale as well in South Manchester. So that now I'm doing both, which is great. So with the Taekwondo, because I like to challenge myself, because I like to push myself, and I've, on top of doing the gradings on a regular basis, which led me to now be a second dan black belt.
Woohoo!
Yeah, alhamdulillah. I also took part in competitions, so I have done fights. I have done, and I still do now. Fights I stopped because they require just more fitness that I'm able to give at this stage, and I prefer to then go into more of the technical competition. It's a bit like gymnastics. You have to show a series of moves that mimic fights, and you get marked on those. So I still do that, and alhamdulillah, I still win my gold medal, so I'm happy.
We're very proud of you, Safiya.
As long as it works for me. It just pushes me to really do it the best I can. Because
and as an athlete, do you
I love being called an athlete.
I know the answer. You are an athlete, but as an athlete, and I know the answer, but I just wanted you to talk more about it. Is your nutrition? How much emphasis does nutrition play on
Crucial,
this?
Absolutely crucial. Because if I am now, my body's I'm very in tune with my body. And I know that if I don't eat the right kind of food at the right time and the right amount, then I can't perform properly. I don't have the energy I need, but more crucially, I do not recover well. So I would have maybe twinges, pain in my knee or hip, or my muscles would feel tired. And it's not beneficial to my body. It's not the right kind of treatment I give it. If I ask my body to do so much, I have to treat it to really give it the right kind of fuel. It's a bit like having a a really good car, you've spent money on it, you really want to cherish it, and then you put like rubbish oil in the engine, or no
I
oil,
always tell my
or no oil in the
children, my young people,
yes,
about their body being a Ferrari, and what you put in it, right? And then they're probably rolling their eyes, thinking, "Mom, it's important, right?"
Yeah.
So
when we'll talk together, when we have a show, when we talk more about sugar and all that stuff, we can talk more about how it impacts your level of energy in the right way sometimes, and in the wrong way, and what type of sugar.
And also we need to talk about, even if, let's be truthful, not everybody's going to run and sign up now for karate or any martial arts, but we all need to get to a level of fitness that works, or that we don't need help walking eventually, right? It leads to that if we don't use our muscles.
This is the thing.
If we don't build it back, because a lot of us women lose our muscle mass. We put more effort on our kids, which we should, but we need to also live a little bit on the side to care for ourselves. But we don't really think about it, because you normally have a good level of mobility and health. It just creeps up on you. So now, but we have to take it back, and we need to care about what we eat plus our mobility.
Yeah, because to be honest, I don't want anybody listening to us and saying, "Oh yes, but she's thank you very much, an athlete." I love that word. She's an athlete. It's true, who would have thought?
You are.
But it's how does that apply to me? Obviously, when you might be looking at me saying, "Oh, she's like doing so much and she's pushing her body, therefore she has to be careful." I look at the Olympians and I'm like, "Oh, they have you always have someone who does more than you, okay, and who's pushes themselves more than you, etc." But what we're talking about, this is our experience, but what we really want to talk about is on a daily basis for an average person, someone who works in the office or who has children and takes them to school by car, etc. What are the little things that you can do just to improve
your health,
so that you live longer, healthier, happier, and inshallah, obviously this is it cannot be without Allah's permission and help.
But while we are alive, to be in the best health possible.
Yeah, it's our responsibility.
But barring things that happen unexpectedly, like people in accidents and stuff, most of our health problems come from our lifestyle choices.
There's a lot of things.
And because we live in a society where everything is fast food, fast everything, we become a little bit complacent, and we think, "Oh, but eating this won't hurt, eating this." Next thing you know, 2-3 times a week you're not eating healthy. Or you're not even, now we reproduce restaurant food at home, and there's so many ingredients we use that are really failing us, that we need to look at them, find out what they are, and improve on them, because what you eat affects your cells, and your cells affect everything else, like your muscles, and they affect your health. Like, there's so many things, little changes we have to make to improve ourselves. Ramadan is a reset for us, so we're going to talk more about how to make that really a reset month instead of
Ramadan is
we'll get to that.
Is a big issue, and I know most of us listening, we know exactly what we're talking about when we say that a lot of us, including me, we're not fasting the way we really should be fasting.
But I read something crazy that in Ramadan, a lot of people have like a high, or in the Muslim community, like so many heart attacks. And it's like
more than in the rest of the year. You mean?
In Ramadan. And I suspect it's what they're eating and how much they're eating after they break their fast.
Well,
so we really gotta get into the nitty-gritty of that.
Yeah, inshallah. I think this is the issue. Is again, this is why we have this disclaimer as well. We're not intending to treat and cure and etc.
No, we're not
because any idea that we put out here is you have to take little by little, step by step, and just add one. You can't reach the top of the stairs without going on the first step first.
Exactly.
Right. So you start with a little thing. Oh yeah, actually I'm responding quite well to that. I'm quite liking it. So whether it be like next week we'll talk about a lot about those things like walking and cycling, gentle exercise that's soft on the joints, and these are little things you can start with. And to be honest, me first, I do not walk. I have a car, I'm busy with the children, taking them here, there, and everywhere, doing my shopping. I'm constantly by car. I know you take much more public transport.
I do, but I have had since I've moved to the UK, my life has been way more idle. I don't want to call it idle. What's a better word? Like, I do not exercise much. Like, I don't walk as much as I used to in Toronto. Like, in Toronto, I used to have to walk to everywhere. Now my husband will drive, but he's in way better shape than me. Like, he walks at home. He walks in place. He walks up and down the stairs. Something that
oh yes, I have noticed him. I have noticed him walking once. I came and he was walking up and down in the house.
Yeah, he's doing it as his exercise.
Checking his steps.
His steps.
Such a good idea.
It's very good. It's really helped him get rid of his blood pressure and all kinds of things.
Yeah, we'll have lots of tips next week to give you regarding this if you want to start or add just a little routine. How you can add a routine that you don't have in place at this point in time. And make it manageable.
And how you can start from nothing.
Yeah. And even me, as I said, I am very active, but it's bouts of activity. So like I would go for 1 hour and a half Taekwondo in the evening or Pilates, and then not much during the day because, well, we'll talk about what is active and the difference between being active and doing exercise, because there's a big difference, and one is not better than the other.
And we'll talk about what's good nutrition.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be for next week.
Hopefully we'll get some good feedback from you guys.
Yeah.
And we'll be encouraged to keep doing this.
Yeah. So you can email us at info@heritageradeo.org.uk if you want to suggest anything you'd like us to talk about, whether you want to maybe
topics,
come on,
like what topics, and yeah, that's right. As
if you want
guest,
you can also call. In the future, we'll probably have sessions where we'll have you phoning in, and sharing your experience. We'll announce that obviously in each time the week before, if that's the case. So we have loads and lots of ideas to make this show interactive, interesting, beneficial to you, inshallah. Make dua.
Should we talk about our tips now?
Yes.
So you say the tip that you had, and I'll say afterwards my tip.
Or you want me to start?
Yeah, you go first.
So what I was thinking is that it was yesterday. I just was just busy, and I was just very busy, and I thought, I'm getting a little bit kind of stressed, and all of a sudden it's just all right, just stop and breathe. So everybody now, you can just stop whatever you're doing, unless you're driving. But even if you're driving, don't stop driving, and just breathe in very deeply, feeling your lungs and your back, and the deep breath. Fill up your tummy, expand your tummy, and just exhale. A long exhale. Just get all that air out and free your mind from all thoughts. And if you do that 3 times, that's it. You've given good oxygen to your body and relaxation. So now, Angela, quickly.
My quick tip will be when you're hungry, instead of grabbing crisps or chocolate, grab a handful of nuts, pieces of cheese, and that will make your blood sugars even out, and you can wait for your next meal instead of eating more and more refined
and a big glass of water as well.
Yeah, thanks for that.
That's definitely a good one. Well, it was lovely, Angela. Inshallah.
Same here. We've enjoyed this. Hopefully it'll be useful for everyone.
Yes, inshallah. So everybody have a wonderful day, wonderful and blessed day, and inshallah we will see you next week. And don't forget that we were not intending to treat or cure anything. If you're in doubt, go and see your healthcare practitioner. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. We hope that you enjoyed this week's discussion. Remember, none of what we said is intended to diagnose, treat, or cure.